Did you know that you can successfully, you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes, manifest from a place of scarcity, lack, fear? Welcome, my loves. My name is Lauren. I am here to talk to you all about this topic today. One, about how is it possible that we manifest successfully from a space of scarcity, lack, fear, when all of the manifestation courses out there, all of the books, all of the teachings say that we can only manifest from a space of abundance. I want to talk all about this today because many of us have been through these experiences where we have a huge successful launch, or we hit this rank or promotion, or we experience these incredible highs in our journey, financially, in business, in life, yet it is not seemingly sustainable. If you feel me, 111, as I said this here, if you feel me, you feel me on this. Okay, here is what's happening. When you are super hyper aware of what you are trying to manifest, which is called active manifestation, you're doing the miracle mornings, you're writing in your journal, you're setting out the crystals, you're keeping the intention and the vision on that desire, holding the frequency, holding the vision until it comes. And what happens is the nervous system sometimes, in a space of, let's say, fight or flight, because there's many different modes of the nervous system, but let's say we're in a space of fight or flight. And that fear or that anxiousness, that can be a driving force. That can be a real motivator. Think of the true meaning of fight or flight in the nervous system. That is when the nervous system or the body or the mind is exposed to or has an interaction with what is seeming to be, we'll just say, a traumatic experience or a big experience. The nervous system goes into fight or flight. So let's just think back to our ancestral times when we're living out in the wilderness and we are faced with a huge lion or bear that is chasing us down, and our primal instinct is fight or flight. What are you doing? You're either going to fight off the bear or you're going to run like heck, like it's your full-time job to try to survive, right? That fear, that adrenaline rush, right? It makes us stronger, and we can do things from that space of adrenaline or fear. It just creates this superhuman ability because our primal instinct is survival. I've got to make it out of this situation alive, right? These experiences then become encoded into DNA, into our cells, and in time, as we continue, generations and generations and generations to come, the nervous system today receives an email from our boss or, a difficult situation with a friend online, and our primal instinct kicks in and we immediately think, I'm not going to survive this. How do I respond to this email? We're shaking, we're sweating. And that same response that our ancestors went through running from a bear or a lion in the woods for survival kicks in. And it might seem crazy, but our response in the body feels the same. Now, imagine you're going through a launch. You're going for a job promotion. You are trying to hit a rank in your company or a promotion or a title in your company. You have your heart set on this new home, this new car, what have you. That primal force, that primal instinct, it kicks in. It's a big, scary experience. I'm anxious. I've got to get this done. And we're running, we're forcing it. That's all our energy is focused on. We all know that saying, where focus goes, energy flows, right? What we focus on grows. So we're hyper aware, we're hyper focused. The nervous system is full force, fight or flight. We are running, creating, manifesting, and boom, it drops in. Because we did all the things, we held the frequency, we matched the frequency, we brought it in, we called it into our space, and now it's here. Now that it's here, the nervous system can relax, can breathe. You can almost take that sigh of relief. We did it. We got the house, we got the car, we hit that rank. We received this large influx of cash in our bank account. We can breathe. Now that the nervous system recalibrates back to familiar or its normal state, and we're not running from that lion or bear in the woods, we just be. And as we drop back into that space, suddenly our thoughts change. Our energy changes, our frequency shifts, and we are now back to where we were when we began. Before, when this desire or this idea was just a thought. We did it. And as the nervous system recalibrates back down, and as the mind and the energy and the feelings and the body can breathe and relax, we shift into that rest or digest state. Well, from here, we're no longer the match for that frequency. We are no longer forcing, pushing. The adrenaline is gone. The anxiousness is gone. The nervousness is gone. And we are just back to our normal everyday selves. And this is the version of us that we need to take a hard look at and think, is this version of me a match for that desire? Let me give you a more solid analogy. I had a client once who manifested so hard for their dream car. Had their dream car after, I think, 2.5 years it was. Saving money, manifesting, test driving, doing all of the things. And the car drops in. This lasted for about 6 months. This car was a luxury vehicle. The payments were something outside of what they could, in that moment, normally afford. But they were manifesting, right? They were focused on it. They were calling it in. It dropped in, and as they shifted back to their baseline energy or baseline frequency, and the nervous system relaxed, things kind of went back to normal, to the state that they were in before they started actively manifesting this. And what happened is that version of them was not a match for this vehicle. All of a sudden, payments were difficult to make. Payments were becoming skipped. Within the first year of owning this dream vehicle, it needed to be traded in and kind of down trade to a more affordable vehicle. Now, at the time I wasn't working with this client, this is a story that was shared with me later on, a few years later, when they were a little more advanced in their awareness and understanding of how this works. And it was a story that they shared in one of my group experiences. And it immediately dropped in for this client that what was happening is that when things settled down and things kind of went back to normal for them, they realized that their current job, their current income was not really enough to sustain what they were calling in. So what needed to happen was this client and anyone, I'm just going to say anyone that experiences something like this, what needs to happen is we need to stop hyper manifesting and being hyper aware and creating and forcing from that space of that primal instinct, right? From that space of fight or flight, or when we get into that anxiousness or nervousness and trying to manifest from that place, because you will call it in. You can. But what would happen if once that car landed in this client's reality and they then, for the remainder of this auto loan, needed to continue to force and push and manifest and hyper focus on holding the energy of having this vehicle? It's exhausting. It's depleting. It leads to burnout. Another example, because I have a lot of experience in the network marketing industry and I see this happen all of the time, is, a leader will come in and have this huge launch, or even, there are other people who, with personal brands, that will launch a program or launch a course and have a massively successful launch, right? Hit the top rank, or they have a, 6 or 7 figure launch of this new program or this new course. And immediately what happens is the money comes in, the people come in, the launch is extremely successful, the energy is high because we're excited and, but what's happening is we're in a launch energy. This is not our baseline energy. This is not our standard everyday energy or frequency. This is launch energy. This is launch frequency. So again, even though it's not a traumatic experience in the sense of a bear or a lion chasing us down, the body and the nervous system doesn't recognize the difference. The body recognizes it as, this is a huge event that I am trying to survive and make it through. So the body, the nervous system, immediately kicks in to that fight or flight. I've got to fight my way to the top. I've got to run like heck to make it to the top, right? And that's kind of the idea. Let's run hard. Let's run hard. Well, that primal instinct is fight or flight. So when we go into this launch energy or this launch frequency, yes, absolutely, we're going to have a huge peak. We're going to hit the mountaintop here. We're going to have these huge highs energetically, financially, spiritually. We are feeling like we are on a high. And then what happens is that, think of like the honeymoon phase in a relationship, right? It's like the honeymoon phase is over. And the nervous system relaxes. We shift back into that rest and digest state. Our mind can soften. We did it. We can breathe. Shoulders can drop. We can relax. And now that we shift back into our baseline energy, can this baseline energy hold it, sustain it? So using the example of the network marketing company, you recruit and sell to hundreds or even thousands of clients, customers, team members, they're all joining you. Can you hold that? Do you have the ability to serve that many people individually? We know you have the ability to call it in, but do you have the ability to hold it? Next thing you know, in time, you missed that so-and-so in your level 3 or 4 has their eye on this different company that's coming out because they're not getting the attention that they want or need in this large space of thousands of people. And so they leave. And so-and-so on level 1 is starting to feel out of alignment with so-and-so on level 2 because our launch energy called everybody in, not from a space of organic growth or, frequency and resonance, from the space of launch energy. I want everybody. We're collecting people. Numbers. Yes, you'll collect it. You'll call it in. But when it's not an energetic match, when it's not organically grown from your baseline energy, it's impossible to hold it. So leaders are leaving the team, the sales are decreasing, And that's okay, because here's something else I want to point out about this is that energy, business, life is going to have valleys and peaks, highs and lows, light and shadow, right? Because life truly is about the duality. So when I say a couple of things are happening here, one is that when things slow down and you're shifting out of this launch energy, are you also understanding, there is a polarity, right? Without darkness, there cannot be light. Without what feels like failure, there cannot be what feels like success. Without lack, there can't be abundance and prosperity, right? So are you able to still feel fully abundant when the numbers are decreasing? And understand or hold that awareness that this is energy. This is the dust settling. This is the law of resonance, right? So the frequency that you are, as we shift back and back and back and back to our baseline energy, those we called in from that launch energy may not truly be in energetic alignment from that higher space. And this is not to say that your energy is low or your frequency is low. It's just there's a major difference between when you're launching something huge and when you're trying to sustain it from your baseline. It's no different from when you go to a retreat or an event and the energy in the room is, you can walk in and it is just palpable. You can feel it without even knowing what's happening. You can feel the high energy. And when you leave from that experience, we have to shift back to our baseline energy. So, my loves, the work is in increasing your baseline energy. It is not about having to live in that survival mode of fight or flight we talked about in the beginning. It is not about having to hold the frequency of that launch energy or that promotion energy or that day that brand new car that we manifested drops into our, timeline, or that new home drops into our timeline. This is about raising our baseline frequency to be able to hold the energy of that desire. Now, inside of Soul Shift, which is one of my exclusive programs, as of right now, it is called Soul Shift. In time, as it evolves and expands, that may change. So depending on when you hear this. However, right now, my program is called Soul Shift. And inside of this, we go into the how of holding the frequency, increasing your baseline energy. It's the question of who or what version of myself do I need to become to hold this? Here's how it's different. How it's different is we are not hyper manifesting these miracles to drop in and then dropping back down or over to the left or the right to a different frequency than that of which this desire is. Now I'm going to give you, let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10, and we're going left to right, not up and down, because I'm not about making you feel like your vibration is lower, but it's just different, right? So let's think from left to right, 0 to 10, and you're in the middle at a 5. That thing that you're calling in, that rank, that car, that promotion, that home, is up at 8 or 9. So you have to push and push and push and manifest and manifest and manifest and do all the things to increase your frequency up to that 8 or 9. You get the car. Now the car is here. You breathe and we are back at the 5. We can't bring the car or the rank or the job promotion or that title or that home. We can't pull that down to the 5. We've got to be able to bring our baseline energy up to the 8 or 9 so that when that fight or flight kicks off, when our baseline energy kicks back in, we are still a match. Here's how that looks different. I'll continue to use the example of a network marketing company trying to hit that rank. When you launch a new company and you're going into it, and we talked about that honeymoon phase of a relationship, right? The same applies in business. So you're in this honeymoon sweet phase, that launch energy of a program or a new business, and you just want to blast it everywhere. You want to scream and shout it from the rooftops. Your energy is high, you're excited, you've got the butterflies in the belly, and everyone can feel it. It's like walking into that room, right? Where everyone can feel the energy. The difference is you use that energy and you get grounded. You breathe. From that space, you go into your version of meditation. It doesn't have to be sitting in silence. It can be getting out in nature. It can be swimming. It can be drawing. You drop into your version of meditation and connection into the highest self. And you ask, what aligned action steps can I take right here, right now, to call in my soul-aligned clients, team members, job, car? If you're going for the car, how do I get the income increase? How do I get the job promotion to call in that car? How do I become the version of myself that holds that frequency? Not how do I bring that item in or that title in? How do I become the version of myself that is able to hold this naturally and organically? And here's the difference. I want you to think about this. Would you rather wait 6 months to call in that car, knowing that for the entire lifetime of that auto loan, you will never have to worry about the payment, you will never have to worry about affording it? Without a doubt, you've raised your baseline frequency to now be a match with that, and now you can afford it. Your income is increased. Maybe you got a job promotion at work. Maybe your partner is like, hey, my car payment's over. I'm going to help you with this one, whatever, what have you. But your baseline circumstances change. Or would you rather call that car in right now because you hyper manifested from this space of fight or flight, right? You called the car in, and now in 6 months, because the baseline is not a match, now you can't afford it, and you were able to drive it for 6 months or a year, but now you've got to give it back. Do you see the difference between a grounded, natural, organic approach of increasing the baseline energy rather than manic manifesting? The same is true for the network marketing team or the launch of your program, where you're calling in all of these people. Yet after the launch is over, or after, 2 to 3 months, a lot of them start shifting out of your world, out of your timeline. Or would you rather have a slower build of this launch of your network marketing business, of your coaching program? Maybe it takes a little longer, but when you get there, because you've nurtured it, because you've raised your baseline energy and frequency, your nervous system, your body, your energy and frequency can hold the space for all of these people individually. Do you feel the difference in the two? When we are manifesting from a true state of authenticity and abundance and raising up that baseline energy to truly, and I mean truly, become a match for that of our desires. Not for a hot moment, but indefinitely. That when the numbers begin to drop, we don't go into that state of fear and fight or flight or panic and immediately have to start manifesting, creating, collecting again, because we understand the law of resonance. We understand the frequency. Inside of Soul Shift, we're going to talk all about how to do this. If you are listening to this inside of Soul Shift, you can go ahead into the next section here, into the next lesson where we talk all about this, how to hold the frequency, how to raise your baseline energy and how to call these desires in from a true, authentic state of abundance. Sending you so much love.